How to assemble eco-worthy dual access solar tracker. I just finished assembling eco-worthy's dual access solar tracker. It's super nice, and today I'm going to show you how to assemble it from step one to step done. If you want a discount, you're thinking about ordering eco-worthy's dual access solar tracker, right now they're offering a $30 discount on your order by using code Taddy30. Definitely check out eco-worthy's website and the link in the description. And I'm going to show you how to assemble the eco-worthy dual access solar tracker. Let's get started. Make sure you use the installation manual that comes with this solar tracker. While building this, assembling this dual access solar tracker, I made a lot of mistakes. I'm going to show you all those mistakes as we go through the process of the assembly, and I'm going to show you so that hopefully you don't make any of the mistakes that I made. Part of the first steps of the installation, to begin the installation, is installing the main pole. And we'll need to mount this main pole on a solid concrete ground. And there's some expansion bolts that we're going to use. So I've got two boxes. One is I've got some Unistrut, which is used to hold the panels, solar panels. I've got the main pole. And then I've got some of the pieces that you put together once you get the main pole installed. First step, I've got to dig a hole. So I've got 4 bags of high strength concrete mix. This is Sackcrete. I've got a rake, a shovel, I've got a wheelbarrow, and I've got a 2x4 and a level. Now, I believe in working smart. So I got a skid steer and I got a 12-inch auger. You can use a shovel, I'm gonna use a skid steer, and we're gonna get this done quick. All right, got the spot picked out for where I'm gonna dig the hole, and it's in between where my little driveway is to go in my gate where my animals are, and then in between where I'm gonna put my shed and my little aquaponics system. If you don't know anything about a skid steer, this is the button you're gonna use to make that auger spin left and right. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna hit this auxiliary button. All right, and you're gonna see that pop up on the screen, auxiliary. And then you're just gonna, you run this up and down, okay? Go in the ground, boom, and then take this and spin it this way. And then go down. And that's it. Got a lot of rock in there. 12-inch hole at the top. It's rounded out a lot more. About 14, 15. And then how deep is it? It's about 2 foot right now. All right, got the first bag. Now I'm gonna get some water. Mix this concrete up. Looks like pretty good consistency right there. We hit the hole. All right. Smooth your concrete out. You can use a piece of a 2x4 and make sure it's level. That way, when we set the base of our pole down, it's nice and level. That's almost level. All right. So change of plans. I didn't like how my concrete turned out because it was a little bit below the ground. It was like 2 or 3 inches below the ground. I needed it to be up off the ground. So what I did was I just built a form out of a 2x10x12. I did a 2.5 foot by 2.5 foot box, and I basically just took a 2x10, a 2-inch by 10-inch board, and I cut it in 4 pieces, and then I put it together with some wood screws. And then I took 4 stakes, that way it doesn't move when I start pouring my concrete. I've got it where I want it, make sure it's level, and I'm gonna go ahead and pour concrete and fill this box up. Then I'm gonna set the main post. Let's go. Now that I've got the concrete poured inside of the form that I made with 2x10s, I'm going to use my compass to know which direction to install the main pole. So the main pole's got signs. It's got north, east, south, and west. And you want to take and look at your compass so that you know which direction this pole should face. All right? So what we're going to do is we're going to take our compass and we're going to put our compass right here. All right? And then I'm going to take and I'm going to put my main pole down inside the concrete, and these angles are going to hold it. And that is so that when the concrete sets up, my bolts will be firm inside that concrete, because I don't want to have to drill holes or anything. See? Got the bolts right here already inside the main pole, and I left them loose because I'll tighten them up after. All right, let's go ahead and set the pole in place. Now that I know that east is behind me, this direction, I'm going to set the pole down like this. All right. Main pole is setting in the concrete, so I'm going to wait 3 days. It's going to set up, get hard, and then I'll tighten the bolts. And then I'll remove the form. So, exciting. Looks pretty good. Now I can take out these metal angles here. Take those out. And I can tighten up those bolts. So I'm going to tighten up those bolts, and then we're going to start the assembly process. I'm using my socket 17mm and my ratchet. I'll go ahead and start tightening all these bolts. Get them nice and tight. Now that our main pole is secured to the concrete, you can see this says A. Now we've got a few more pieces that we've got to put together, and they're labeled B, C, D, and E. I'm going to show you how to put these on the main pole. This is the box that contains all the hardware, all the different sizes of the different bolts, the different nuts, the different washers, lock nuts. Make sure you take all of these bolts out. That way you can look at them and see the difference in the sizes. That way when you're looking at the installation manual, you know which bolt goes with which piece. This is the easiest way to do it because these are not labeled. We're going to take and attach post B to post A. How do we do that? We're going to take one of the longest bolts right here. We're going to slip a lock nut and a washer on that bolt. And then we're going to take and put it through post A and then through post B. When attaching post A to post B, there's only one bolt that's by itself. It's the largest, longest bolt, and that's the bolt you should use to attach the main installation pole to post B. See? A mistake that you might make is you might use one of these 4 bolts that's used to attach post B to post D. And that's what I did, and I ended up having to take one of these bolts back out and then use the longest, largest bolt to make sure that I did this install right. And that's one thing I want to include, because that's something that can happen. You got to pay attention, and that bolt will fill up this hole. So if you use one of these, it's not going to fill up the hole, and it's not going to be right. Okay, now we're going to attach post C to post B. How are we going to do that? We're going to use these little latching pins. All right, so 2 of these. Let's do that now. All right, next, post C to post B. So put it on top like this. 1 pin there. 1 pin there. This is how post C is attached to post B. And you're going to take these little pins and you're going to push that in. And then once you got it pushed in, then you're going to bend one of those. That way it doesn't come out. I'll show you that bent so you can see it. Take your channel locks and bend one side. That way it can't come out. Now we're going to use these long bolts to attach post D to post B. Let me show you how we're going to do that. D is going to go right here and line up like that. Pretty simple. Make sure that you use 4 bolts when you install post D to post B, okay? Because I ended up using one of these bolts right there and I didn't have enough bolts in here, and you can see in the video that I only had 3. There's supposed to be 4 bolts and they come in a pack together, so you know they're all for this post. Also, make sure you face this the right direction, otherwise you won't be able to put your actuator on there correctly. We've got 2 posts labeled E, and we're going to attach 2 pieces of Unistrut to each post, and then the 2 holes in the middle we're not going to touch until we get the Unistrut mounted to these posts, and then we're going to mount these posts labeled E directly to post C. All right, and it's going to face this direction. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start putting bolts through the Unistrut and attach 2 pieces of Unistrut to each post labeled E. We've got 8 total. We're going to use 4. And I'm going to use these bolts right here. How do we know these are the bolts? Well, if you count the bolts right here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. These are the bolts. Plus, you'll know when you put them through there, because when you put them through, there's a little bit left on the other side. So these are perfect. All right. Now I'm going to attach post E to post C. I'm using some very long bolts. That's what it should look like for Unistrut attached to post E, and the Unistrut should meet in the middle. We've got 3 bolts on this side, 3 bolts on this side. Remember, do not put a bolt in the middle holes, because this is what we're going to use to attach post E to post C. Now, the way I'm going to tighten this up, very simple. I'll take my Allen tool and I'll put it right here. See that? And then I'll take my socket. This is my 17mm socket. If you don't have a good socket set, DEWALT makes a great one. Link right there, link in the description. And then I've also got a adapter for my drill, so I can have a socket attached to my adapter. And I'm just going to turn it like that. Whoop. Makes it super simple. You can also use a ratchet though. All right, now I'm going to get this other post connected to these 2 pieces of Unistrut, and then I'll show you the next step. Now we've got two linear actuators, right? We've got a small one and we've got a large one. We are going to attach the smaller one from post A here to post B here. That's the smaller one. The larger one we are going to attach from post D to post E. All right? So we're going to start doing that now. Each actuator has got a white bag, and inside that white bag you've got two brackets and you've got two bolts with two pins. We're going to install these brackets on the solar tracker system before we install the actuator, because otherwise you won't be able to get the bolts connected into these brackets and into the pole. So we're going to go ahead and install these two, and then we'll install the actuator and then the pins, and we'll connect those brackets to the actuator. All right, so now I've got my brackets in place, and they should look like that. That's for the smaller actuator from post A to post B, and then the larger actuator should be from post D to post E. Now I had to take and swap this post around. I had this facing this direction, and my actuator would not have been able to be installed correctly. So now I'm going to take and put my actuators on. Next step, straight from the install manual, we got to take and put these last pieces of Unistrut together. How are we going to do that? We're going to use 4 bolts, and we're going to use the 2 U-shaped connectors. So we got the U-shaped connectors here, and we're going to place these like so, and then we're going to put the 4 bolts through. And once we get these connected, then we'll put them on our solar tracker. Alright, you take that little U-shaped connector, put your Unistrut in there, try to make sure that everything's in the middle, like that right there. And I'm going to take my 4 bolts, place them in here. Probably just place 2 for now, flip it on its side, and then connect my nut. And I have the best way to tighten this up, right? Just take your Allen tool, stick it right there, adapter, that is nice and tight. Now I'm going to put my last 2 bolts in there, and then we'll move on to the next step. Alright, so you're going to need your bolts. You're going to need these little lockers right here, 2 of those, and I'm going to show you what to do. Alright, so let's go to right outside of bracket E. You're going to find the middle. You can see this right here. I'm putting this here. I want to make sure this is going to work, by the way, and that this is in the middle. Other bolt Go up here, put that in. Now the other piece of that locker goes on the bottom, and then you got your nut. There we go. When you attach the Unistrut to the other Unistrut that you've attached to the post labeled E, make sure you do it on the bottom side. Do not do it on the top side. So got the two lockers, got the bolts in place. If you do it on the top side, you're going to have issues attaching the solar panels, and you don't want that. Read the manual twice, that way you only have to do the setup once. Alright, I'm going to get this bolt in. In order to measure the wind correctly, the wind speed sensor must not be mounted close to the ground or near a wall. And that's why I mounted it up on this post here. That way I get a good measurement of the wind. Now I'm going to mount the controller on the main pole, right below where it says east. We've got 4 pre-drilled holes right here for us, so we don't have to work too hard to mount this controller. I've got a 5/16 self-tap screw, and I've got my 5/16 bit for my drill. We're going to take the controller and we're going to mount it just like this. So sink that screw in. Don't tighten it too much because you don't want to break the plastic. I'm going to go right here, mount this one, and then after we mount the controller, we're going to mount the sunshine sensor or our photocell. And I'm going to show you in the install manual where it tells you to mount this. And then I went ahead and mounted the wind speed sensor. I had a piece of a 4x4 and I just screwed the 4x4 to my form that I'm going to leave on. So, and then I used some type of decking screws just to screw that sensor on. So, all right, now that we've got this mounted, we're going to mount the sunshine sensor. And I'll show you where we're going to mount this and how we're going to mount it. Before I mount the sunlight sensor, I am going to turn the solar tracker so that I can reach these pieces of Unistrut. You have to mount the sunlight sensor on the northeast corner of the Unistrut. So before we do that, we're going to hook up this battery that I've got to the connections that say plus and minus. Before we do that, we're going to hook up the actuators. So this one goes here, you can see, because it plugs in. And then we're going to tighten it up. And that's nice and tight. And then this one, you can see, goes here. Plug it in. All right. Tighten it. Definitely love the kit. It's easy to install. The instructions are really clear. All right, now, this is the bracket that we use to install the sunlight sensor. Let's hook up this battery that I've got. Golden Mate. This is a 12.8 volt 100 amp hour battery, and Golden Mate. Link in the description for this battery. Super nice. Now I've got some wires that I've hooked up to the plus and minus cable that power this controller. I'm going to go ahead and power it up. That way I can, oh, you hear it beep? Should have power. So looks like we do have power. All right, now that we got power, I'll push the set button and then I'll move this. I'm going to make it flat. All right. Just want to make it to where I can easily be able to put on that sunlight sensor and also be able to put those brackets on for the solar panels and then put the panels on. That right there does it. We want to mount the sunlight sensor in the northeast position. So we can look at our main pole. North is that direction. East is this direction. So that means we're going to be right here. When we install it, we want to make sure the cable that goes into this sunlight sensor is facing south. So that means the front part would be facing north. So to install it, we take this little piece here and we put our bolt inside like so. Then we take our sensor, we put it on top, and we've got these 3 bolts here. Now we take and tighten the sensor down like this before we tighten the main bolt. Got to get my other bolt here. All right, that's nice and tight. Now that's what it's supposed to look like. And then you need your washer, your lock nut. Put it up here like so. Then take your washer and your lock nut like this. And then tighten it up like that. It's in position. Now I'm going to take wire ties and wire tie this. That way it looks neat. I don't want anybody walking by here and catching the cord. Whoop! Right now, EcoWorthy is offering a $30 discount using Taddy 30. So go use that discount code to get $30 off. If you want to see the video of me attaching the solar panels to this tracker system, check out the video in the link in the description. If you want to see the video of me programming the controller, check out the other video in the link in the description. I hope you learned something in today's video. If you did, let me know what it was. If you liked the video, hit the like button, subscribe, and smash that bell, ding, so you know what I'm doing. Stay tuned for more videos. Thank you for watching.